Isn't it so strange the way a goat drinks water, you guys? I mean, have a look right here. He's not even using his tongue. Is it just Hero that drinks it weird, or is it like, let's see, here comes Finn. Finn wants to drink too. I've never really looked this closely at how a goat drinks water. They almost suck it like a straw. Like when I drink water, I don't know. Is it just me, or does that look weird the way they're drinking it? Like other animals I've seen, like dogs and cats, the best way I can imitate it is like, they kind of like that, you know what I mean? But watching these goats, they almost like suck the water like a straw. They barely move their mouth. I don't see any tongue coming out to like basically get like scoop the water essentially. And then they get it all stuck on their mouth like a little baby. They are little babies. I once read that, I think it's dogs, I think, or maybe pigs or something, one of the more smart animals that we have in this world. I read that the intellect of a really smart dog is the equivalent of a 2-year-old human, like a little baby, a little toddler, the terrible twos. And so that sounds about right, because whenever I think about it, I think that some of the really smart dogs out there probably have about the same comprehension. They can follow the same commands. They can express their needs similarly to that of a 2-year-old human, 2-year-old baby. I guess that makes sense. Pretty accurate comparison if you ask me. And so if all of our goats around here, for that matter, are the equivalent of like little 2-year-olds, little 1-year-olds, then I guess we could consider them our babies, if we're being technical. Y'all follow my logic there? Does that make any sense whatsoever? That's the most random thing to talk about today. Hey, buddy. Are you my good goatie? You're my good boy. You good boy, my good boy. I'm so proud of him, guys. He's growing up. He's becoming a little goat. Me and Meg just got home, and we went to the doctor. I saw all the animals hanging out on the berm, and little Hero was way up there near the top, just grazing, eating grass. It's very simple, like it's something that he does all the time, but it just is a reminder that he's growing up, he's being a big boy, he's being a goat, and I'm really, really proud of him. You know, I'm so proud of you, buddy. Of course, when Daddy's here, he goes back to being a little baby. He has to be by Dad's side when he sees Dad, but no, that's my good boy, the good goatie. Look at that little tail wag. Old Finn must have been thirsty. Old Finn gorging that water down. I apologize for bringing extra attention to his nether region, but it's looking about time to get fixed soon. I think he's at like 6 weeks, my dad said. About 6 weeks old. Hero, you jumping on your daddy? Let's see what else everybody else is up to. See those ducks right there? How the heck do they swim like that? Because their bodies just look like it's floating or levitating on the water. So underneath the surface, are their legs like paddling? That's probably a really dumb question, asking how a duck swims or how a water animal swims. But I suppose that like their legs underneath are just paddling, and you can't notice it above the surface because their legs are so light that it's not making any splashes or any ripple effects with the water. Is that how they go? Or are they more like Jake's unicycle, or more like the hoverboard where you don't actually paddle, or you don't like basically push pedals to make it go? You just kind of lean your weight forward, and that naturally just makes your body move in that direction. Or if you lean a little bit less forward, it makes you move a little slower in that direction, just using friction or laws of physics. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think those legs are paddling hard? Do you think that the legs are paddling hard for them, or you think that they're just leaning very heavily forward with their body weight, and those that are more in place are kind of not leaning nearly as far forward? So many things about nature, so many things about animals that so intriguing, so curious. Hi, Finn. Are you the little baby too? I try to give Hero attention, like, you know, the same as always, because I don't want him to think that he's been replaced as the baby. He'll always be my baby. They're all my babies, but he's like especially my baby because we raised him on the bottle. And because his mama couldn't feed him because his legs weren't working. But Finn's a little baby too. Hi, Finn. You're a good goatie. I know that they named Finn after Huck Finn in honor of Huck. It's a little bit. I have to get used to it a little bit because we already have a Finnegan or a Finn inside the house. Our first ever cat that me and Meg rescued. A lot of you guys, I know that most of you don't give us a hard time for our cats. Y'all know we love cats and they're all cute pets. And I understand to an extent that everybody watching the video pretty much already has cats and dogs. So I try not to make too many videos about them. But sometimes you can't help but share your beautiful moments with cats and dogs. And no matter how many people might have them, a lot of people still find those videos enjoyable and relatable. But I get the point that other people try to make too, that y'all already have cats and dogs, but a lot of y'all don't have goats. A lot of you guys that live in the city can't have, you know, pigs and goats and geese, donkeys, stuff like that, longhorns, horses. So you like to see videos of those kind of animals, and so that's why I predominantly try to make my content revolve around that. But the point is that with our cats, a lot of our cats are rescues, and so that's what the sanctuary is about as well, is about rescuing and giving a forever home to animals that live in harsh and unfair conditions. And so our cats aren't just a bunch of ones that we bought from the store, from Petco or whatever, and we brought home just to fuel our obsession or to add to our collection. Pretty much all of them are rescues, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I was going to say most of them are rescues, but now that I think about it, every single cat that we have has been a rescue. Think about it this way. Finnegan, the one that I was talking about, he was a roadside rescue. For those of you that don't know the story, it was about 2 years ago. Meg and I were just hanging out. I think we were hanging out here at my dad's house because we didn't live here yet. And Jake called me and said that he was broke down somewhere around here and he needed us to go pick him up because his truck broke down. So we got in the car and we went over to help him. And along the way over there, we saw some little tiny orange creature on the right side of the road. You know, we were kind of in a rush to get Jake and it was kind of trafficky, so I didn't feel safe stopping right there. But I was like, was that a cat, Levy? When we looked over to the right, and Meg was like, no, I think that was a gopher. And I'm like, a gopher? Seriously? Like, no, that was a little orange cat, a little kitten, little triangle ears. And so we were already almost there to get Jake. So we decided, you know what, let's just go get him. And then when we're coming back, we're going to obviously drive through the same area. Let's see if the little creature's still there or not. And then if it's a little bit safer, a little less trafficky, then we can see what it is. And so we went and picked Jake up. So Jake's a witness to all this. I don't know if he even remembers this. It's been 2 years. But we came back that way. And then we saw the little orange creature still right there on the side of the road, like this close to oncoming traffic. Cars were just driving by. It was like frozen in fear, like stage fright. And it was a little bit less trafficky at that point, so we stopped, put our hazards on, did all the safe things that you're supposed to do, and Meg got out and swooped that thing up, that little orange cat. And it was at that point that we realized it definitely wasn't a gopher or a wombat. I think it's a wombat is what she thought it was, whatever that is. I don't even really know what that is very much. But brought the orange cat home, and Meg was upset because she lived with her mom at the time, and they already had a lot of pets over there. So she was like for sure that her mom would say no if she asked. But she was very distraught because she loved this little orange cat, and she'd always wanted a cat. She loves cats. Y'all know that. We both love cats a lot. And she ended up deciding, like, you know what? It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I'm just going to bring the cat home and kind of not really give my mom a choice. And I hope that she'll be okay with it. And I don't know exactly how it went. And Meg could tell you herself. I kind of forgot. But I think her mom actually didn't take it too badly. Not as bad as she thought it. She would take it at least. And that was Finnegan, our first ever rescue. Me and Meg's first ever rescue together. And then Loveland, our second cat, she was also a rescue too. She was born to a mama cat under Aunt Kim's house, believe it or not, for those of you that didn't know. This mama cat was very negligent though. The mama cat had 4 kittens and left them all to die. She didn't even like try to take care of them. She just kind of abandoned them and went on doing her own thing. By the time Kim noticed that the mama had given birth, I guess she had went looking for the babies and found 4 of them under the house. 2 of them had already passed, so there were 2 left. And so Kim was like, oh goodness, that's awful. Like her heart was broken, I imagine. It was just kind of a tragic thing. And then she called me and said that, hey, Ellie, we got these 2 cats, these 2 little kittens that have no mama. Do you think you could help out? And so me and Meg rushed over there when she called. But in the short time it took us to get from our apartment to Kim's house, the 3rd one had passed too. So there was only 1 left, and it was hanging on by a thread, barely hanging on. And everybody at that time was telling us, like, you know what, like the other 3 already passed, this one probably won't make it, so when it dies you should probably do this and this and this to kind of dispose of the body, and don't beat yourself up, don't blame yourself. And I remember thinking to myself, like, if you mean when it dies? No, like no when it dies. We're going to do everything we can to save this animal's life. We're not going to give up until there's no effort left to give. We're not going to basically accept defeat that easily. We're going to give it all we got, and we're going to make this thing survive. And so we did our thing. All these videos are on my YouTube channel. If you go back far enough on my channel, 2 years ago for Finn, 1 year ago for Loveland, or if you just like type in on YouTube or Facebook, type in like Flip Flop Farmer Finnegan Rescue, Flip Flop Farmer Loveland, type in keywords that are relevant to what you're trying to find. I'm sure the video will pop up for you. And all these videos you're looking for will pop up if you type in the correct keywords in the YouTube and Facebook search bar. But anyways, we saved Loveland, and now she's a big old chubby pretty kitty. I'm not here to tell you every single story about every single cat that we've rescued, but I guess the point that I was making is that, like, well, first of all, I was kind of like remarking at how Finn right here has the same name as our inside cat Finnegan. And then when I got on the subject of cats, I kind of figured I might as well just remind you guys that our cats are rescues just like the animals out here. That's why we video them a lot. They aren't just little house cats that we bought to feel an obsession or whatever. We love cats, don't get me wrong. We might be borderline obsessed with them, but we're not going to let it distract us from, you know, we're not going to let them take away any attention these guys deserve as well. And I know some people honestly just have a bias against us and against cats. And here's the reason I know that. I remember one time a few months ago, I made a video, and it was a cat video. It was predominantly about cats. They were the focus of it. And somebody said, man, what's happened to I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, Flip Flop Farmer? He's a cat channel now. His content is falling off a cliff, or whatever they said, all kinds of silly stuff. And I went back and looked, at how many videos it had been before this last one that I made about cats. And so I went back, and guys, you're not going to believe this. It had been 28 consecutive non-cat videos from the last time that I made a cat video. On that day, when I made a cat video, and the lady said that, like, all you do is post cats, I went back and looked, and it was like 28 to 35, something. I think it was 28 videos in 35 days since my last cat video. All I do is make cat videos, 28 videos in a row or something like that of farm animals and non-cats. Give me a break, you know what I mean? And so it was just an unfair bias.
Someone's mad.
No, I'm not mad. I was talking about Finn and talking about how it's confusing because he has the same name as our Finnegan. And then when I got on the subject, I was like, well, our Finn was a rescue. Like, we video our cats a little more than probably the rest of the family because our cats, they fit the theme of the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. They're all rescue. Every single one's a rescue. Not one of them is one we bought to feel our obsession or whatever. They're all rescues. And so, I don't want anybody to, I don't know. It was just interesting conversation. I've been going for 14 minutes, almost 15 though.
Excuse me, guys. with Bambi?
Bambi, I think I did. Guys, Bambi's awful. She's been getting stuck. She got stuck twice yesterday. She's been getting stuck a lot.
I check the cameras at random times at night, random times during the day, just to check and see where she's at.
Look at those teeth first. Somebody needs to get them trimmed again. I remember last time you had them trimmed. It's only been like a month or two. They grow back fast. Since the farriers did it last time? No, it definitely hasn't. At most 2. I would probably say 1.5, to be honest. Hi, Pig Twooty. Hey, Timmy. These are my good shoes, so I can't get them dirty. But I will pet your little snout. I know that feels so good, Pig Twooty, right? Doesn't that feel so good, little piggy? Yeah.
I'm off to take a nap.
I'm taking a nap.
Girl thing today.
Yeah. Mega's doctor anxiety. She went to the doctor and got blood drawn. I'm so proud of her for being so brave.
So I'm going to take like an 8-hour nap, kidding. But
That's a funny subject matter too, is that Meg hates needles, hates getting blood drawn. I hate needles, I hate getting blood drawn too.
3 tattoos.
3 tattoos though.
But you know what? The phlebotomist who did it, she said, no, that's completely different. Anybody who says it's not different is wrong.
Yeah. Well, I know that I hate needles and I hate getting blood drawn so badly that last time I was there, I literally asked the doctor if I could just get blood from different circumstances. And I think she looked at me like I was some kind of a psychopath or something, like blood from what? And I basically was like, no, not like that. What I mean is I work on a farm. You look on my legs, you see, you know, like most of my cuts and stuff are kind of healing, scabbing over by now. But just in general, you kind of look at me and Meg, both of us, our arms, our legs, we get cut up. We work on yeah. Look at all those bruises.
Where are those from?
Rocky. You get the point, guys. We work on a farm, and we get cuts, we get bruises a lot from the animals and just from fences and all kinds of stuff. And so I explained this to the lady and basically said, like, you know, if I could collect blood from all of my various farm injuries, could I bring it in a big old cup or a jar, and maybe y'all use that to check my cholesterol and do my blood tests instead of having to put the needle inside of me? And she looked at me like I was nuts. And she basically said, she was like, no, sir, you can't do that. I like the effort, but there's scar tissue and there's other things in the blood that comes from your skin that it'll interfere with our sample. And then I basically was like, well, what if I get enough of a sample to where you can isolate the scar tissue and any other impediments, I guess. And then I was trying everything. If I could get enough to where you can isolate anything that interferes with the readings, so you have enough just pure raw concentrated blood. And she was like, it doesn't work like that, basically. But I tried.
The lady that did my blood appreciated your effort. She thought it was funny.
Yeah, the last lady. No, the last lady thought it was funny too. Oh, that's silly stuff, guys. Well, we're about to head inside. I think it's about to rain a little bit. Animals are doing good. I got some cables I set up. I need to probably put some electrical tape over it before it rains. Don't need that getting ruined. I already made that mistake once. I left them out without electrical tape, and then they got corrosion. So, well, with all that said, you ate too fast?
Yep.
Ate your food too fast. Alrighty, guys. Well, with all that said, hope y'all enjoyed this little silly video. Y'all be sure to let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you guys want to see. I hope you all have an incredibly blessed day. And as I always say, your boy Ellie out.